Hi friends, today I'll tell you about RAG practically. What is RAG? RAG is Retrieval Augmentation and Generation. Retrieval we know is like fetching the data, augmentation is adding the data, and G is generation, is getting the data from the LLM after it is generated from the LLM. So first point is augmentation. We cannot retrieve when it is not augmented. So first step is A. A is augmentation. Augmentation is nothing but adding more data, more information to LLM and ask it to refer to only those more data attached to you, not to connect to the LLM pre-trained data. So first is augmentation. Augmentation is, first we have to create a retriever. I'll show you how we are going to create a retriever, and retriever will retrieve only the relevant chunks from the database based on the user message. User message is nothing but the query which we are giving to the LLM. Then context list is nothing but we are joining all the relevant chunks, and then we are using that context for query again to call the LLM, but we are also giving a system message and a user message as well. So what is a system message? System message is like giving LLM model the instruction which particular ways to fetch the data from yourself, from your own from the LLM. So here we are going to give three things in the prompt. You check this prompt very precisely: system message, user message, and the context. When we add everything, it becomes RAG. Now RAG is going to call the LLM using the system message, wherein we will define what you want to find, how you will follow the protocols. User message is nothing but the query we have. The question is equals to user message. Context for query is the list of all the relevant chunks we have got from the attached or augmented DB, right? So this is the context for query, this is the attached DB chunks which we have got, this is the user message, and the most important here, the system message which we have given. You need to see that because it will give you an idea how we are writing a system message. So when we are defining a system message, we are telling the LLM that you are an AI assistant specialized in analyzing AI initiative reports and organizational strategy documents. Now you have this PDF which has all the details like AI initiatives, adoption technologies, and every single detail you will provide whichever is there in the PDF. You will tell that you also will get two things: context and question. Context is nothing but the context we have got the relevant chunks, and the question user query will also be given. You have to answer only in the context, not from the training mod data which you have got. And you can even say I don't know whenever you don't know the things, but do not give the information which is just hallucinated or assumptions based on your LLM training data. So that we are giving here. Okay, so this is the main thing to know, that we are giving a system message, we are passing a user message, basically the query, and we are giving all the chunks of data which we have augmented. Now how we have augmented chunks of data? For that we should know what is retriever and how to create a retriever. To know how we create a retriever, you should know how we are defining a retriever. So whenever we are defining a retriever, we are importing the chroma vector store. So vector stores are already defined in LangChain community, which we are going to use and define a retriever. Now retriever will be called with two major parameters. One is search type and second is search coarcts. How you are going to decide that this is the way of defining your vector DB. So this is the cosine similarity. This is the method on which LLM will decide the chunks are similar or not, and this is the number of chunks which has to be retrieved whenever retriever is called. So you should know what is retriever, but why it is calling as retriever? Because as retriever is a function in vector store. What is a vector store here? So vector store is a chroma DB, basically a vector DB, wherein we have decided what AI initiative chunks you have. An embedding model, and AI initiatives is just the collection name. You can give any name as a collection name. So once you define a vector DB you have already defined using chroma, you can create your retriever, and then retriever will get all the important chunks from AI initiative chunks. But how did you get the AI initiative chunks of all? So AI initiative chunks is nothing but breaking up and loading those splitted chunks from the PDFs. See, we have loaded all the PDFs, and then we have broken into using splitter and then loader. So this is loading and then this is splitting. Loading is getting all the PDFs and splitting is breaking those PDFs into multiple chunks. Once it is decided, like whenever it is splitted and loaded, those chunks are being used here in vector DB. Now once your vector store is ready, we are using similarity as a search type and search coarcts to find out the number of chunks which is important to as per the user message. So now you should be clear that how we are defining the retriever. You know that retriever is retrieving. Now because this retriever is already an LLM connection, we can invoke that connection using the user message. Once user message is passed, system message is already given by the developer, user message is given by the end user, and the relevant document chunks are stored, and over that we loop to create a context. Once it is done, then we will call the LLM using three things: context for query that we have got from here, user message we have already get from the end user, and the system message. Whatever the input we have got, we are using whatever we have got from that that prompt we are going to invoke the LLM, and then that response we have got is the end result using RAG. So this is how we define a RAG function. Thank you.